Like I said, Larry Frost installed cameras. There is not only video, but there is audio. I talked to Larry on those damn cameras. There is audio on those cameras. He did hear every word and everything that happened, and he did nothing. Okay, so I'm sorry. You can keep spinning this back onto me, but Larry is still just as culpable. Sorry.
How did you talk to Larry on the cameras?
You literally speak to the camera, and he spoke
did
back
he
to me.
He spoke back to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah.
Through the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I need to ask you a serious question. So there's allegations that you walked away from Alice. You saw her. Like, can you explain to me what happened?
Okay, first of all,
What
they're trying to say,
night?
okay, what
they say. I want to know what happened, Vaughn. You tell me what
Well,
happened.
here's I already did discuss it, but I'll discuss it again because it does bear repeating. Yeah. All right, I go in the morning, and I find her on the ground with a blanket and pillows, and I thought, well, some people are weird like that. Maybe she got done using the bathroom, and instead of getting back in bed, she made her a pallet on the floor and went to sleep. That was my initial reaction. And so I went to her, and she was still kind of groggy. And I said, well, I'm not going to bother her. I'll let her sleep a little bit, and then I'll come back and check on her, which I did. And I come back and check on her, and she was still groggy, and now she was kind of unresponsive. I'm like, uh-oh. So that's when I went back to my house and called the ambulance.
So you went and saw her at least twice before you called the ambulance?
Absolutely.
Did you not? Okay, so you said that you've worked in nursing homes.
Yes. But like I said, she didn't seem overtly unresponsive until after I went back the second time. Because after the second time, it's like, yeah, there's something wrong here. But they're trying to make it sound like I was away from her for hours and hours and hours.
How long between the first incident of her not really being that groggy and you calling the ambulance?
It wasn't even, I don't think it was even a half hour. I went back home. I got the dogs fed, and I come back over. And so, yeah, it wasn't even a half hour. And, but here's the thing. Here's the thing the trolls aren't talking about. Larry had cameras in there. Larry had cameras in the fucking house that not only showed him what was happening, but he could hear what was happening. So why didn't Larry, when he heard this loud thud hit the ground, why didn't he call the ambulance?
Here's my question.
Didn't he come running out to the house to see what was wrong?
You said that when you first went in to see her, was she on the ground?
She had made her a pallet. She had made what we call a pallet. She had taken a blanket, laid it on the floor, put pillows up there, and was asleep on the blanket. We call that a pallet. She basically made her a bed on the floor.
Well, let me ask you. I understand what a pallet is. What I'm asking is, when she went to bed that night, was she in her bed or did she make a pallet?
Well, that I do not know because I left her at about 6:30.
And then you went to check on her again.
6:30. I left her about 6:30 after I gave her her supper.
And that's the last time you saw her.
Understand that mom is not some immobile, disabled individual. She was up, around. She took care of herself primarily.
Exactly. And that's why I'm a little shocked by you went to see her and she was a little unresponsive, a little groggy on a pallet.
Yeah, but anybody, when you first, okay, hold on. When you first wake up, you're not going to be 100%. You're going to be like,
but she was on the floor. And I think that's where a lot of people are a little taken back.
I'm sorry, but
something that Alice did all the time? Did she sleep on the floor all the time?
I have seen perfectly normal people make pallets on the floor and go to sleep.
That's not the question. The question is, did Alice sleep on the floor on a regular basis? Is it something
not on a regular basis? But I mean, her
so
being,
wouldn't you think that it's a little out of character for here?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't think it was life threatening. Okay, I didn't think it was life threatening. People
were you a nurse?
On the floor. I was an orderly, not a nurse.
You were an orderly, and as an orderly,
the point is that when I first made contact with her, she did not seem in any danger whatsoever. She just seemed like somebody that was a little groggy after being asleep all night, and that was it. And like I said, these fucks are trying to say I was away from her for hours on end, which is a total fucking lie. But anyway, my point is Larry had cameras in that house that not only showed him what was going on, but he could hear what was going on. And when if she fell, which I don't believe she did, because she had a blanket on the floor, she had pillows on the floor, she literally made her a bed on the floor. Okay, so I don't think there was a loud thud. I don't think she fell. I don't think she could have been 100% lucid when she made that pallet on the floor, as far as I'm concerned. Because, I mean, you got to have a little bit of brains to make a pallet on the floor.
Okay, well, here's the story that I'm getting. This is what I'm hearing from the situation. Your mother hit the fucking floor. You heard her fall. You went over there and put a pillow and pallet underneath her to make it seem like she was sleeping. That's part of the bullshit story you told not too many days ago. You told that story.
I did not tell that story.
Yes, you did. You have changed the fucking story about what happened to Alice now.
No,
you have changed that fucking story.
No,
and
I'm going to sick,
Vaughn. Do you understand Vaughn? This is like our third conversation.
No, I'm going to correct you. That's not what I said. What I said is that Larry should have heard, if she fell, Larry should have heard her hit the damn floor. That's what I said. Don't get it twisted. I never said I heard her hit the floor. I was in another damn building. How am I going to hear anything? Larry should have heard her if she fell at all, which she clearly did not, because she made a pallet on the floor and went to sleep. Okay. She was not in any danger that I was aware of. Okay. I'm not a god. I am not, well, I guess technically I could be considered clairvoyant, but anyway, it wasn't happening that day. Okay. So I wasn't clairvoyant that day. But anyway, the point is that no, I was in a completely other building. There's no way I could have heard her fall. What I said is that Larry, with them cameras turned on, if she had have fallen, Larry would have heard her fall. Period. End of story. He would have heard her fall. Why didn't he get in his vehicle and come running over here when he heard her fall from those cameras? Oh, because she didn't fall. She made her a pallet on the floor, put her some pillows down on the floor, and went to bed. There was no thud. There was no crash. There was no loud noises. She made her a pallet on the floor and went to bed. Why did she go to bed on the floor? I don't know. I don't know what was in her head at the time, but she made her a pallet on the floor. She went to bed. Period. End of story. Okay, let's not get this shit twisted and try to paint everything as Von Helton is this evil motherfucker that hates his mom. Because I don't hate my mom. And do you know why I don't hate my mom, Miss Parker? I don't hate my mom because I found out that these Frosts were manipulating her against me this whole fucking time. Been doing it for years, all the way back to Ohio. Oh
you refuse to admit the fuck shit that you do. And honestly, what happened with Alice, I do believe a lot of that falls on you, brother.
No, it does not.
Absolutely it does. Because you were the first responder. No matter how you cut the cheese, you're the first fucking responder.
The camera in the house was the first
responder. You got to check on them. You don't just leave them laying on the floor.
No, the thing of it is, you know, like I said, anybody in my position would have said, "Oh, she made no." We at the time there was no knowledge of a stroke or anything
because
like that.
You did not give her the medical attention that she needed, and that's the problem.
Actually, I did give her medical attention.
Go check on them.
Okay, I did give her the medical attention she needed. Hold on here, people. No, I did not say it was an hour. That was a lie. I did not say that I did not give her medical attention, because I did. I did not say that it was my fault, because it wasn't. What I did say is that why didn't Larry, if there was indeed a thud sound, a falling, if my mother fell, there would have been a loud noise. It would have went over them damn cameras. And so why didn't Larry respond? Why didn't, you know, it's wonderful to spin this shit back onto me. But remember, folks, Larry had cameras in my house illegally, and he would have heard any noise that she made. He would have heard any noise. He would have heard her scream. He would have heard her fall. He would have heard her hit herself. He would have heard all that shit on the goddamn cameras. He would have heard it all. But yet he didn't respond. He didn't come over to the house. He didn't call the ambulance. He didn't do jack shit. But so it's real nice to spin this shit around and try to throw it back on me when Larry Frost already had those cameras in place, and those cameras were recording during the night, which means he would have heard everything. He would have heard it all. So why didn't he do something in the middle of the night? Oh, because there was no thud, there was no fall, there was nothing. She made her a bed on the floor and went to sleep. Now, why did she do that? I don't know. I'm not in her head, but she did that. And I come and I saw she was resting. I assumed she was fine. She was a little groggy when I tried to get her up for meds and shit. But I said, well, I'll let her sleep for a few more minutes. Minutes, not hours, damn it, minutes. So I went out, I fed the dogs, and I come back, checked on her again. She was still unresponsive. And then that's when I called the ambulance. In the meantime, Larry didn't do jack shit, even though he had cameras in there, even though he says, I'm so concerned about Alice. Well, he wasn't that day. So, you know, you could keep trying to spin this back onto me all you fucking want. It's not going to help you. It's not. It's just not going to help you. Sorry.
It's mind-boggling to me, the way that you have responded to this situation. And I think that's what everybody else is upset about. Because when my father was on the floor and he's on the floor. Why is my elderly father on the floor? That's the first question. That's the very first problem in the situation. And that's where people are holding you accountable. Because
well, see, that, like
if you see an elderly person on the floor, pallet or no pallet, this is not normal. I need to get you into the bed. You need to be in the bed. I don't care what they say. They might be a little lucid. You need to get back into the bed. I need to take care of you. I need to see what's going on here. This isn't normal. This isn't natural. That's the very first sign that something's wrong. And the reason why I'm upset is you saw that. You didn't even assume anything was wrong with it. You proceeded to, like you said, give her medication and leave her alone. This is why I'm holding you responsible. Me, Miss Parker, personally,
just a few minutes. It was no hour. It wasn't even 30 minutes. It was just a few minutes. I went out. I fed the dogs. I come back. She was still unresponsive. And then that's when I called the ambulance.
Fun. What I'm saying is, when you see somebody laying on the floor like that,
on a bed that they made themselves, that they themselves made, which means they were conscious and lucid. Dude, okay, stop. Okay, hold on. You have to be conscious and you have to be lucid enough to make the damn bed on the floor. So obviously she was lucid and conscious. You cannot be out of your mind and make a bed and put pillows down and shit. Okay, you can't.
What I'm saying though is, what is considered normal and healthy in our society is when you see an elderly person laying on the floor, doesn't matter how they got there, doesn't matter why they're there. You're supposed to get them up off the floor and get them into their bed, make sure that they're not injured, make sure that they're not having a problem. That is first fucking priority when you see somebody of that age who's ill in whatever way. You make sure that they're safe. Laying on the floor is not safe. I'm not saying you did something wrong. Other people can say that, but
yes, you are saying I did something wrong. You said I should have done something right then the first time I come in there. Yeah, so yeah, you are saying I did something. Like I said, Larry Frost installed cameras. There is not only video, but there is audio. I talked to Larry on those damn cameras. There is audio on those cameras. He did hear every word and everything that happened, and he did nothing. Okay, so I'm sorry. You can keep spinning this back onto me, but Larry is still just as culpable. Sorry.
How did you talk to Larry on the cameras?
You literally speak to the camera, and
he spoke back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah.
Through the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah.